This is the Startup Social Podcast, your inside look at the Austin startup world. We get real with local founders and business owners who share their toughest challenges and biggest wins.
Thank you everyone for tuning in to Startup Social. As you know, I don't do introductions because the introduction is already done at the beginning. I got my man here today, Shaun Ruthrford from Bay City, Texas. We had a little debate earlier talking about you can't go anywhere else. Like you gotta go through Van Vliet to get to Bay City or leaving out of Bay City. He said you don't have to. I'm gonna pull up a map because if you don't know what Van Vliet is, you must be living under a rock. Some people know where Bay City is from. You ever had to tell somebody, you had to explain to somebody where Bay City was from?
Never. Nah, man.
Please, man. Anyway, I'm gonna read out his bio real quick, then we're gonna get into it. So Shaun Rutherford is from Bay City, Texas, former collegiate athlete playing quarterback at both Glenn Junior College and Texas State University. He's the founder and CEO of Bet On Yourself Athletics, an Austin-based sports performance and development company. In addition to running his sports performance company, Shaun is also executive director of Central Texas Football Academy, a nonprofit organization that helps athletes in Central Texas area develop their athletic and life skills through community involvement, mentorship, college preparation, and athletic development. Y'all gotta excuse me today, my voice is hoarse. I'll just tell you this because you're gonna hear this probably 2 times because we got like 2 or 3 podcasts and shows today. I was at the UT versus LSU game, and honestly, I rarely drink, but my wife passed me a beer. I'm gonna blame it on her, and I ended up drinking 2 of them, and I'm a lightweight. And so I was a little bit buzzed and I was yelling a lot. So my voice is a little hoarse. But we're going to get back into the show. Shaun will be talking most of the time anyways. We want to know more about you. First off, I'm going to get back in the mic. First off, more so, where you from? How'd you end up at Glenn? How'd you go to Texas State? And then ended up here in Austin?
Just to kind of pick up on what you said, everybody knows where Bay City is. We do not have to drive through Van Vliet to get out of Bay City to get into Bay City. I just want to get the record straight on that one. But like you said, man, from Bay City, graduated from Bay City 2008. Ended up at Glenn Junior College. I had signed to go to play ball at Eastern New Mexico University, but my recruiting coordinator at Glenn talked me out of it. Probably one of the best decisions I ended up making by doing that. Ended up going to Glenn, got there, redshirted my first year. Next year came around. That's when Cam Newton, some people may know who that is, but he transferred into Glenn, ended up moving to receiver, started receiver for 2 years, left there, got a scholarship to go play ball at Texas State University, played a little ball at Texas State, broke a few records here and there.
So hold on. You was quarterback at Texas State though, right?
Mm-hmm.
How you go 2 years at receiver, then you switch back to quarterback? Did they bring you in as a quarterback or a receiver?
I actually went in Texas State to be an athlete. So I went in as a punt return specialist, kickoff returner, was punting, pretty much doing everything. Somehow ended up at the quarterback position.
They said you was throwing the ball around in practice just like, man, you can throw?
I guess that's what it was.
All right, so you played at Texas State, and what we got from there?
From Texas State, I left there, ended up going to play ball in Europe for 3 years, spent time in Germany, Serbia, and also Paris.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, kind of hung it up from there, hung my cleats up. My trainer that I was working with when I was in college, he reached out to me, said he was going to be leaving the facility, asked me if I would want to take over the reins as the sports performance director. Mm-hmm. Ended up jumping into that. That's what kind of started my career off as a trainer, and then just kind of worked my way up the ropes from there.
So where are you at? Because talk to me more about the Bet On Yourself Athletics.
So I recently started that up in 2017. Once I got done playing ball, also I kind of did a little internship at Texas State, kind of helping out with the quarterbacks here and there. Mm-hmm. And I had a few kids reach out to me asking about quarterback training, and I ended up deciding to kind of make my own business out of that. My line brother, also probably one of my best friends, he told me about the whole concept of Bet On Yourself. So, I like that and kind of roll with that. A lot of people kind of tried to push me away from naming my business that because it didn't really ring to them as it did to me. But I kind of stuck with that. A lot of people love that saying now. So, I got a lot of people using the hashtag now. A lot of people saying that. A lot of people love it. So, just kind of rolling with that from here.
So, how was it a transition, even though it's still in the sports realm, I guess you can say, was it a transition for you to get from like doing sports, something you've been doing majority of your life, to now having to do something else with like a career? It's not outside of sports, but it is outside of sports. That makes sense.
I always tell people all the time, like being around sports now just kind of keeps me sane. It was so hard to walk away from the game that I played for so many years. But just kind of growing up, I always knew that I would eventually be done with playing ball and I would have to transition into doing something else. So I always tried to plan for the future. I always knew that I would either want to be a coach or do something in the sports performance world. So kind of towards the end of my career, probably the 3 or 4 years before I kind of hung it up, I knew that, I mean, like I said, sports performance or coaching would be what I would end up doing.
Nice. So with Bet on Yourself Athletics, sports performance and development company, where exactly do you kind of train with a whole bunch of different athletes out of the entire Austin area?
I'm based anywhere, man. I'm a hustler. I got one kid that I literally train in his backyard. I train North Austin, South Austin, Westlake, Lake Travis. Just kind of, if you want to train, I'm coming to you.
When you're a specialist, that's kind of how it goes. You gotta, because there's a whole bunch of people.
100%.
One place. So talk to us more about the Central Texas Football Academy.
My mentor actually started this company up back in 2016, I believe. He reached out to me towards the latter part of 2016, maybe 2017, asking me if I would kind of want to join, come out. He explained everything to me, kind of what he was doing for the kids, and how 707 would eventually kind of be taking over the game. So my first year I started out, I ended up being offensive coordinator. We had a pretty solid year. We just finished my third year recently. He recently passed over the reins of a 501c3 to me, so the nonprofit. So definitely got a lot of things cooking up with that. Some things that I don't want to mention yet, but definitely got some things cooking up with that right now.
So I want to kind of go back to because me, you talking about having to go away from the sport, I was the same way. It was really tough for me. I'm not even gonna lie. For me, I still think about it. I was talking to my wife about it the other day, and she was like, "I know you're still thinking about it." So I'll give you an example. I'm at the first game for UT. Me and my wife was in the suite. They took us down to the field, and I'm not gonna lie. I stepped on the field, and I was like, "Damn,
you ready?
I want to get back on here." Started thinking about it getting there, and I started seeing them hit. I was like, "Yeah, I don't remember. I remember that. I don't want those no more." But at the same time, it made me think back, like, regardless of how my career is going right now, like outside of sports isn't just something that's always kind of like I just like doing it. It becomes like a part of you,
right?
Because you're used to having to train and everything else like that. Even going on right now, like the sports part, how would you say that? Is there anything that you did in sports, or just like what you was disciplined to do, then that transferred and transitioned over to what you're doing right now with business?
Man, football, it taught me so much. Just the fact that the discipline aspect of it's days that Monday through Thursday I get up at 4 a.m. It's days that I don't want to do that. But going back to my football days when I literally had to, it's just kind of embedded in me to get up and get after it.
Yeah. Is it a what's some of the toughest things would you say right now with just like building up a business? I know I'm pretty sure you got a vision, like you said, there's some things y'all got growing up, but like you got a big vision that you may have in your mind. What's some of the most difficult things right now that's what's challenging right now to get it to where you want to be?
Biggest thing, man, is just getting the people that don't believe you, getting them to believe in you. I think I can't remember exactly what the quote was, but an NFL player said the other day, nobody believes in your vision until your vision comes into play. So, I mean, you'll have a lot of people that kind of doubt you here and there, but once you get rolling, a lot of people want to hop on board. But I mean, in this sports performance industry, man, it's a grind, a day-to-day grind.
Most definitely. How you can as transparent as you want. How are you getting clients with it? Because I was matter of fact, I just did. Somebody asked me to do an article today, or give some like 5 cents about an article, and they were saying when you started your business, what was the most challenging? And I was like, it doesn't matter what business you're in, sales is always difficult.
Yeah. And
then in sports performance, I mean, it's based on every time that they come, every time that you train, etc. So how are you kind of working to get clients? Do you have is it mainly referral based or etc.?
Man, it's so crazy. One of my homeboys constantly asks me, how do I get clients? Because I never really just market myself. Like I'll post a picture on social media or stuff like that. But it's pretty much just been word of mouth. I try to just give out a great product every time. I always tell my athletes, once they train with me, we become family. So anytime they need something, my line is always open. And I feel like that goes a long way with the athlete and their parents. So, yeah, pretty much everything has just been referral based. I definitely need to do a better job on my marketing. But, yeah, so right now it's just been referral based.
But I'll say this though, when you're talking about like marketing, so when people will say marketing these days a lot, first thing they think about is social media and whatever stuff on the internet. Although people like to say the tech people or internet people, I believe any marketing you do is just something that works. Really, referral based is some of the best marketing you can have because it's not really a sale at that point. It's like, hey, I know this guy, I trust this guy, and they're telling somebody they know. So it's already a trust factor. It's already kind of like basically a trust factor right there. And reputation is huge because when you were saying that, people refer, the reputation part is huge. But going to, you kind of mentioned about, I forgot the exact word that you said when you're talking about working with the athletes and then you're working with the parents as well. On here, I see you have the involvement in mentorship. How does mentorship kind of go into what you do?
It's very big. So with the Central Texas Football Academy, that's kind of one of the things that I'm getting more into. So just to kind of reiterate on what that is, we're also a 7-on-7 based team. So that's kind of our corporate name, so to say. Our actual 7-on-7 team is called Juice Football. So we are a 7-on-7 team, and we travel to different tournaments. We take these kids on college visits. We do community service. So we're not just your ordinary 7-on-7 team. With the mentorship factor, as I said, taking these kids on the college visits, reaching out to a number of coaches daily, trying to get these kids in the college, just different stuff like that. But definitely working to get these kids in school, to get them to make the right choices, different things like that.
Which is a huge part of it. Like a lot of people don't really realize that because there's different angles and things that you can do when it comes to training, whether it be athletes and everyday people. And I was kind of mentioning, I think it was last week when we had a podcast, and we were talking about like it's a therapeutic thing for like I guess everyday people, but for a lot of these athletes, I say young athletes because the majority of them are going to be in high school, middle school, something like that. And then if you talk about collegiate or pro athletes, like it's such a mental factor with every single thing you do because there's going to be some kind of failure or something like that. So some ups and how long have you been with when did you stop playing football altogether?
My last season was 2014.
2014. So it was basically 2015 until now. What's kind of, if you can elaborate, what's kind of some of the ups and downs, not necessarily in the business, but trying to figure things out? Like what I mean by that, if I gave it like from a personal standpoint, when I stopped playing football, I was doing like 3 different things. I was training, I was doing some websites and stuff. I tried to have an apparel company. Like I was trying to figure things out. My mentor told me something, which typically you tell somebody a long time ago. He was like, now it's time. He's like, it's time to figure out what you want to do when you grow up.
Right.
Because literally my life has always been, I'm training for sports, whether it be football or I did track in college too. So I'm always training for something. So I had to kind of flip that switch. And I started this in 2015, but at the same time, I feel like it took me like a lot to be able to understand exactly what I wanted to do. So what was that process for you?
Man, as I said earlier, it's a grind. Like literally, I look back on some of the stuff that I was doing when I first started training, and I laugh at like the different drills that I was doing and stuff like that. Like I thought I had it all together. I thought I knew what I was doing, but it's definitely a grind. Like trying to get things going, like the money, not knowing if you got money. Like a lot of people don't know with training. Like when you're a trainer, you're a sports performance. Like you eat what you kill. Like if you're not getting clients, like you're not making money. So it may be some days you got 7 clients on a Monday and you making $700 to $1,000, but the next 2 weeks you're not seeing no type of money coming in. So that's probably been one of like my biggest struggles. Like once I started out, just trying to know where money was gonna come from. Like it's been times like not knowing where food's coming from, and I had too much pride to reach out to my family and ask them for different stuff. But it's came into play. It's definitely worked out for me now though.
Nice. That pride word kind of hit. I'm a prideful person. Yeah. If I was being honest with myself.
Yeah, you from Van Vliet. That's why.
I'm a prideful person, man. But look, it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing. I guess it really depends on what extent it goes to. Because as an athlete, really, we always feel that we can figure things out. You know what I mean? Like I can go back to the drawing board. I can figure things out. But it's an extent to it. But at the same time, it it strengthens you as you continue to grow when you're talking about business, and then it's such a huge factor as a person. Like, yeah, we're talking about business, but from the aspect of, having pride, whether it's asking for help in any kind of way. But then at the same time, honestly, realistically, you need to go through that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm in a position to where I'm building my business, like I'll give the example for me is I had a wife and we had our oldest son right now. It was us when I first started mine. For one, I was done playing football and really I was playing arena. So it wasn't like I was making money like the season over and I got money stacked up. So I ain't have much money at all. And now I'm like, hell, I want to start a business, which is really kind of dumb. Like I should have went and worked somewhere and saved up or something. I won't say this pride. There was more just like me. Like that's just how my mind worked. But I didn't have it to where I can be like, shoots, like I'm short on rent or I need money for daycare. I need $1,000 or something like that. I didn't have anything to give. And even if my parents did give it, they'd be like, boy, you better figure it out.
Yeah.
You better go get you a job somewhere and, you know what I'm saying, figure it out. Which I heard before.
100%.
I didn't ask for money, but it was like, you better figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But stuff like that for me, it strengthens me. And I talk about this a lot, especially on this podcast, because I'm so big on just being like, I box now, but I like learning things, you know what I mean? But sports and being an athlete is such a huge part of business, because when I look at it, when I'm thinking about the struggles of how I'm gonna make money or how I'm gonna get this money, etc. I also think about like when I was in college, man. I went to college. I was like, at that time I was like 5'9". I was like $150.
Yeah.
And I was a little fast speed demon, but I was getting tossed around the field. I jumped up with it, man. I'll give you a very specific time. I was on the field. I was covering a guy, one of the top receivers. He was like 6'2", 225. Throw a slant. I broke on it perfect. We jump up at the same time. He grabs it. I'm talking about in there, boom, grab it, palm it, hand to my helmet. Like I landed some sticker bugs.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing, man. At that moment, I was about to quit football.
Right.
Everybody laughing. I'm a freshman. I'm like, golly. So anyways, man, I kid you not, just because I went traveling with the team just about every single day, I was in the weight room, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. Wasn't nobody there with me. I wasn't YouTube and looking at workouts and stuff like that. I was just lifting. It was like my weakness. So I look at the same thing in positions like that, to where with business, for me, it's like I got to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, I need to get my weight up. But right now, I need to get my speed up. Like we got to run things faster and things like that. So I like when you elaborate and talk about the realness of like, man, I have to figure out how I'm going to make money, how I'm going to find something to eat or whatever else it may be. Do you believe in this kind of like, on to the next thing, but balance? Do you believe in any type of balance in regards to, or do you feel like there should be any type of balance when it comes to like business, personal life, and things like that?
That's another tough thing, like in this industry. I mean, when you're in that grind mode, like it's grind mode. Like you're putting in 11, 12, sometimes 13-hour days, especially like once the summer rolls around. I mean, I kind of had to have a reality check, like on my family, because there was times I wasn't going home to visit my family. Mm-hmm. The chick that I was talking to at the time, like her not getting her time that she wanted. Mm-hmm. Like people just got to understand, like when you're building something, you don't have time for a lot of stuff. I mean, I believe there's balance, but I also believe people should got to understand like what you're doing and kind of what you're going through at the time. So, I mean, it's definitely phases to it.
Yeah. When you're talking about family, like, what was the reality check for you? That you may have said like, was that reality check something like I need to give more time, or was a reality check more like maybe I need to communicate where I'm at right now or why it's like this?
My reality check probably would have been, it's probably been 6 months ago now. I had like a minor stroke, and it just kind of woke me up a little bit that I was working too much, wasn't going home to see my people. My people are a little bit older. They're not, I mean, I guess 62, 63, not too old, but I mean, they're getting up there. And then when I was in college, like they never missed any games that I played. Like my whole life, I think my people probably missed one game in 19 years.
I feel that.
And just not giving them that same attention that they were giving me. It kind of was a reality check. And then knowing like my health situation, like that could have been like the last time, or it could have been the other way around. Like never not knowing when the last time I could see my people. So that was just kind of a wake up call for me.
Was it just kind of like exhaustion or something like that? That boy said he had a minor stroke.
Yeah.
Were you 20? What 20 what?
29.
29.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, it was a combination of a lot of things, man. Trying to get the business to grow, working 14 hours a day, working 7 days a week. So, I mean,
so I had to. Well, I didn't have one. It didn't get to a minor stroke part. But when I kind of first started mine, I was hitting up like, man, I wasn't working anything less than 14 hours during the week. And on the weekends, it was probably about 8 to 10 on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But I was structuring it around family, but I wasn't structuring it around family.
Yeah.
Like I was only doing things that I actually needed to do, meaning take my kids to school, pick my kids up from school, but like doing X, Y, and Z. And I'll say this, I can't say I regret all of it, meaning the thing that I mainly regret is the communication part. Mm-hmm. Meaning like I didn't communicate with my wife. I really can't really communicate with my kids, but I didn't communicate like this is the mode that I'm in. It was just like, I got to do this. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't no explanation with it. You know what I mean? And then when you talk about the vision part, nobody really sees the vision until it's there. It doesn't matter who it is. Parents, brothers, sisters, anybody. Nobody really understands the vision that's in your head even when you speak it. So I can feel on it. And I got a buddy of mine. He actually owns a web design company here in Austin. Same age as me. And he is in a hospital for a while. He messed something up on his brain because he was working like around the clock. You know what I mean? So I pay attention to a lot of this stuff now. Sometimes it comes back because there's some times where it's just you can't really do nothing about it. Yeah. But you can structure time. You can structure time outside of it. So what's the future? What's the things that you look at for the future? Give me the vision so I can see the vision.
Definitely gonna continue to bet on myself and everything that I do, but I want to continue to grow our juice. I keep trying to switch it up because I want to say the right name, but Central Texas Football Academy and the Juice 707. But continue to grow that, man. It's been great for us. I eventually want to expand back home to give Bay City, Van Vliet. I don't know if there's nobody in Cedar Lane, but just kind of expand back out there.
Yeah.
Just continue to do God's work, man. I've been in a position to where I've done great things, met great people, so I want to continue to give back. So, I wasn't gonna say it, but I said one of my main goals is to get a facility within the next year and kind of expand the Central Texas Football Academy to have like meeting rooms, have SAT tutors come for the kids if they got SAT coming up.
Nice, I like that.
Life skill programs, just different stuff like for the kids that they wouldn't normally get. Same thing back home. Eventually, like spread it to back home. A lot of people probably think I don't come back home enough right now.
Yeah.
But I'm building something now so that way I can expand it back home.
I feel you. So, with those, what's in you that makes you want to do that? Like I know we can get into being raised a certain way, etc. But what's in you that makes you want to do that? Is there something that you always thought of?
That's pretty much something that I've always thought of. My city gave so much to me, like growing up. So I just kind of want to give it back. Every year around Thanksgiving, I throw a turkey bowl. You have to come out this year and see if you still got it.
I do. I'm roasting everybody.
So the annual turkey bowl. So this year will be the third year. So we invite everybody out. We have a big 707 tournament. All the money that we raise, it goes towards funding a few families for Christmas. So less fortunate families that can't afford Christmas gifts for their kids. So throw it every year. Last year we were able to sponsor 11 families.
Nice.
It's just kind of always been in me. I feel like a lot of people probably see me and think I'm an asshole if I can say that. But, I'm a kind-hearted person, man. I love to give back. I love helping people out, just giving back in general.
I feel you, and I've always had that in me. Anybody that came across me, they may not have knew of Van Vliet until then, but they know about it then. It was like, where is that? Man, with my iPhone, let me pull my map out. But I do find to feel that coming from like I had it on my social media, I'll be like a a small town kid with big city dreams, something like that, right? To really put it in people's mind that there's everybody come from so many different backgrounds, whether it be location, whether it be how you're raised, whether it be race, ethnicity, etc. And a lot of people, it doesn't matter who they are, they feel like it's always something that can hold them back, or they feel like I don't have enough steam behind me to do something like this. But then when you kind of get out and you start to see a lot of different things, it's like, man, this is possible. Yeah. So I'll give you an example. When we was talking to Outright Fitness, and one of the guys said that he knew, what's his name? Robert Smith, the billionaire and that lives here in Austin. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, it's a different thing when you, like he gave the example of Robert was saying that he has a flight to catch. Yeah. And he was like, well, what time is your flight? Like, what time is your flight leave? And he was like, when I want it to. He was like, and it registered to him quick, but he was like, oh, he got his own plane. You know what I mean? And it's this is real. I didn't find out about Robert Smith until a couple years ago. But when I found out about him and I started reading about him, literal words out my mouth, I was like, man, it's possible. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so I mentioned that because we do, Bay City's bigger than Van Vleck, clearly. Yeah. But we do come from small areas and small towns to where a lot of people may not think about that until you until you position yourself around people or around an area, and it's like, man, this is possible. Yeah, outside of sports. Like with sports, we think we can go play with anybody. Yeah. It don't matter. You know what I mean? But being able to transition to take that same mindset from sports and being an athlete to actually doing stuff as an entrepreneur and as a business owner is completely different. Yeah. So last thing is, if you had to, we'll go specifically towards kind of what we was talking about. If you had to tell kids back at the crib, Bay City, Van Vleck area, or anybody that's an athlete right now that's like done with sports on how to figure out what they want to do and how to build on it, what would be the advice that you would give them?
Man, put it on paper, or get you a whiteboard, write your ideas down. Yeah. If that idea don't work for you, scratch it out, erase it, put another one on. Just continue to come up with ideas until that right one fits you. I'm pretty sure, like you said, you were doing multiple things at one time. I was, man, Lord knows, I was probably doing about 5, 6 different things like when I was trying to figure it out. But it's gonna take time to figure it out. A lot of people look at what other people are doing, and they try to keep up with them. Nip said it best, man. Run your race. Yeah. But a lot of people just, social media is like probably the biggest thing that got people doing that. They see this other person got 6, 7 chains on. True. Oh, I'm trying to do that. Why is he doing better than me? But man, run your race, stay course, keep pushing, man. Anything is possible. Anything.
I like it. So I appreciate y'all tuning in today. Shaun Ruthrford, Bay City, Texas. Daniel Griggs, Van Vleck, Texas. Let me pull up the map real quick, bro.
You're not gonna find it.
You Van Vleck on the map. Hold on. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna type in Houston, and then I'm gonna zoom in a little bit.
A little bit or a lot of?
A little bit. Let me see. I'm gonna show y'all on the camera too. Y'all, you can't see it if you're listening to the podcast, but I may. Hold on.
You can't zoom in no more.
West Columbia. Look, right. Come on, man. It's right there. And you can't get there unless you can't get to Bay City unless you go through there. Who gonna drive? Where Warden at? You gonna drive?
Look, what are you talking about, man? Okay, I can understand.
You gonna drive all the way down the Warden to get here when you can just come on, man.
Man, they got Pleasure on the map. Y'all can't be happy about that. Not too many people know what Pleasure is, man. My pops grew up there, but this is probably about 20 people in that city, and they show that on the map.
It shouldn't even be a city. That shouldn't even be anything on the map. It's Texas, so they got all these towns. Yeah. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. We catch you next week.